Hello everybody and welcome to another fine evening's worth of sim racing entertainment. My name is Simon Smith and you are here for witnessing round 3 of Gentlemen's Racing Club Season 13 here at the Autodrom Most. Oh yes, mic check, it is the Czech Republic. We're just moving forward to the qualifying session. As ever, I'm never doing this alone. I've got Simon Melhuish on cameras, giving you all the eye candy and pixel filth that you need and want and deserve, because you are sim racing community and we love you all dearly for it. Just moving forward to the qualifying session, which determines the starting grid for round 1 of 3 round this permanent race circuit. 11 laps each time round of the 3 meets that we'll have this evening. Damage set at 100% here today. Everything's disallowed except for auto clutch. Plenty of drivers have got a hefty weight balance on them too. Don't forget, you can get yourself involved. I'm in the chat room over at simrace.tv. We're on the stream free thing if you fancy getting involved with that, or you can just hashtag me in on Tweetface at GRCR3. Simon can't count. So as I say, we're just moving forward to the qualifying session. Nice juicy grid of 5 people, someone just left, drivers today, so the biggest that we've got so far. And let's take a look around this track with TTFR Motorsports' Reino Muru, who has done rather well on the opening 2 rounds, and in the Division 1 category sitting 5th overall. Second highest man on the order to have not scored a podium, actually, to be fair. And you can get a feel for this. This track reminds me of a slightly miniature version. Oh, someone's getting a little bit leery behind him. Of the Nürburgring, for some reason. It just seems like a little miniature version of it. Plenty of room to overtake, lots of winding turns, as well as a few tight chicanes and a hairpin down at the bottom. So it gives you plenty of chances to overtake, but also to make mistakes around the more technical winding sections, and that should prove it to be quite a challenge for the 11 laps. Quite surprised at how close the grid was when we was in the practice sessions. A lot of the field covered by about 2.5 to 3 seconds. The slowest guy was within 5, which was great. So Reino Muru crosses the line to start his hot lap. Let's see what he does as he comes down to the first chicane. You can see behind, actually, drivers are battling for position down the straight start-finish line, so that's not going to affect their hot lap in any decent way at all. It's only going to make it worse. Muru relatively calm round that very, very heavily actuated chicane. Very difficult to get a good thing. Monzaresque, as my cameraman shouts in the air. I can't agree with that more. Then this one reminds me a little bit of Manicourt, actually, that chicane, as we come down to the effectively tinier Nürburgring hairpin. I can yoink all different corners out of different places for this one. Behind Hoekstra, who's started today, has got round another of the newbies that have started, Lucas Grabiliauskas. As Muru running out a bit wide over the curbs. One of the keys to the laps around here is to bounce across the curbs, and I saw Muru nearly rolling it in practice. He's a little bit wide into there, not taking the tightest of apexes. But Muru's definitely carrying the speed through and pulling away from the drivers who crossed the line behind him. Out of that next chicane, under the yellow sign. Just a couple more corners left to go. As you can see, definitely a challenging circuit. We've driven here before, as recent as I think season 11, possibly 9, not sure. But out of the final turn, across the line, and what's this going to be for a standing mark? It's going to be a 1:46.211. Take provisional pole for TTFR. Quickly match almost by Wupke Hoekstra making his debut with a 1:46.452. Marvin Amants in 3rd, and that's exactly what I was saying. Lucas Grabiliauskas who is making his debut, was really getting caught by other people. Paul Joseph got stuck behind for Union Motorsports. Hoekstra had to take him down into turn 1, and Ehab Abbas takes provisional pole position in the Lexus for Union Motorsports for 1:46.191, 20 thousandths of a second ahead of Reinu Muriel. Classic stuff already. Couple of other drivers still out on track. Who have we got? Norman Bruce just crossing over the line now. And he goes 8th, so that's quite good. But yes, we have got a new buyer joining, Kevin Buddy. Maybe he'll be everyone's buddy. Well, he won't be anyone's buddy if he crashes into everyone down at turn 1. But yeah, hey bud, doing quite well. Great to see some new guys actually here today, and there's several of them. Kevin Buddy's just one. Might be Booty, but I prefer Buddy. Either way, he's either going to be religious and sitting cross-legged, or he's going to just be my chum. Chum is better. As the times pour in, Marvin Amant goes 4th with a 1:47.301. There definitely seems to be a top 3, and in a second gap nearly back to 4th, and the rest. Cameron Brewster's gone in 6th for the 6th Axis Racing. James Kirk 9th. Thomas Aniuas, who's making his debut, has gone 7th. And that's the fastest lap he's done so far, because in the practice session he spent most of it facing the wrong way. What he's going to have to do though is get out of the way, because that's Kevin Buddy on a hot lap behind, and Thomas needs to get out of the way. Indeed he does, quite nicely indeed, as he returns back to the pits. Kevin round the final corner then, showcasing the GRC livery for the BMW. Across the line, where's this going to pop? Everyone's new favourite friend, 4th. He slips right in the middle with a 1:46.572, nearly 4 tenths off the pace, but that would do. Hans-Peter Mead down in P20 at the moment. He's in the Lexus going round, hoping to give his team boss a little bit of a relaxation after myself and Simon all took part in the epic 24-hour broadcast of the Le Mans, or the virtual-ish Le Mans, at the weekend, which was fantastic. We didn't call it Le Mans the weekend, it was the South of France. Very German. But yes, it was a great pleasure to commentate on that, and it was a massive success, and great to meet all of these new guys. Hans-Peter Mead doing ever so well. He's 8th overall in the Division 1 Championship. Teammate Marco Venz was 13th, and he's here today as well. So Hans-Peter Mead, a couple of lockups, so it's not been the tidiest of laps, but he seems to have one of those paces that isn't always the fastest, but it manages to reap home some good results because he's consistent, and that's 5th at the moment with a 1:46.587, second fastest Lexi. And we've gone into a small bit of a lull. The only guy out there on a hot lap at the moment is Lee McLaughlin for the 6th Axis Racing Dice, down on 24 as Lucas Grebuliescus leaves the server, so disconnection there for him. But Lee made his debut last time out in Interlagos. Didn't do too badly. Seemed to get a little bit caught up in one or two others' problems at times, but made the best of it. And oh dearie me, very deep into that turn. None of the turns here are named at Most, unfortunately, but yeah, not quite taking the right apexes around these fast sweeping corners, and quite often that will just have a raking effect, especially around this section of the circuit, because one leads into another, and if you're slightly on the wrong foot when you start this section, it can only get worse, because you either have to scrub off the speed so that you can actually get into the right apex for the next corner, so therefore loses you time, or you'll just constantly be offline, and you risk just binning it. But Lee hanging it all out to dry, but keeping it all together as it comes around to the last corner. Where does this pop? The 6th Axis Dice Racing team. 8, not bad at all. Top of the 6th Axis Racing, or TSA Racing team car so far. Who else have we got out there? We've got a couple of the TMO guys. Ricardo just crossing the line now actually, and that will pop him up into pole for a 1:45.900 with their nice little new stuff. Who else have we got? Let's join Borna Spoljaric for the TMO Sins and Skins. And someone's popped some new paint on these cars. I like this. Very, very swish and sophisticated. Very Windows 7 as they come round. Reino Room just slots into second behind Picali, and Marco Wenzel's just gone 5th. So the times are slowly going down, and that's Martin Palm. Borna Spoljaric's teammate has just yoinked provisional pole now, the 1:45.728 as the big guns come out with 30 seconds left to go. Borna in a little bit deep, and that's too far out on the exit to Kurt. Really hanging it all out, and that's a little bit awkward into that corner as well. It's so difficult to do because it's downhill and turning, and there's a slight bump on the inside by the looks of it, because a lot of drivers are struggling with that. The other thing, of course, is that Borna's got quite a bit of penalty weight, and there's quite a lot of it to go around here today. It really has been a Weight Watchers' wet dream as they come round to complete this last couple of corners. Looks like they've yoinked this section up at the Nürburgring and just stuck it on the end of the circuit. Out he comes. What's this going to do for Borna? I don't imagine it's provisional pole. Don't imagine it's too far off though. 4th position behind Palm, Bracalo and Khairul Aziz. Everyone's favourite Malaysian in 3rd position. And that just leaves Andreas Stankiewicz down in, currently showing 24, in the TMO Osiris. They've chosen green for their little livery. I do like these liveries actually, they look quite smart. As they pop over the curves, the faster drivers really playing deaf with those. Got to watch out for Paul Gardner, who's just up ahead returning to the pits. He's just outside 5 seconds with his fastest lap actually. Ooh, yep, now he gets out of the way relatively well. Stankiewicz continues on his way, returning after a ban for some slightly interesting driving, or is he not? Ah! I thought he was banned. No, he was just lazy, didn't turn up. Naughty Andreas. See? Tarred with a brush. Across the line he comes. Where does he spot him? P9, half a second off the pace. Wow, look at that. The top 12 covered by 8/10 of a second. I think we're in for an absolutely classic night of GRC, as we always seem to be. Spoilt for choice. Martin Palm, though, provisional pole. Now turned into real pole provision. A 1:45.728. Nearly 2/10 clear of Ilja Bracalo. Khairul Aziz 3rd, Borna Spoljaric, Reino Room for Team Estonia 5. You have a Bas Mirko Wenzel, Reino Muru, Andreas Stankiewicz and Wupke Hoekstra on debut. Rounds out the top 10 in what looks to be like a very interesting stuff indeed. The service is not bad for a number 2 driver. I don't think Mr. Palm will take to that particularly well, but he will have a giggle. He is the ladies' favourite, of course. And he is 2nd overall in the championship. Because in Division 1, Borna Spoljaric has got 3 wins from 6 starts. Lays up top with 174 points. On Martin Palm with 1 rim. Both Spoljaric and Palm on the podium in every single event. 152. Reino Room is 3rd without a win. 115. Khairul Aziz 4th, just 3 podiums. 113 points. Reino Muru 5th. Just 1 top 5 finish, but 6 point scoring things, and a high climber as well. About 86. Ilja Bracalo 6th, because he wasn't here last time out unfortunately, but he got 2 wins from 3 starts. And that really could see him ascend the order, and he could be one of those that is like a fly in the ointment and could really help decide what goes on up top if he's not going to be part of it. We have a Bas, Hans-Peter Mead, Henry Vierok, not here today, nor is Ryan Walker. And they round out the top 10 in that Division 1 standings. Division 2 has got Paul Joseph leading that one after 3 wins from 6 starts from his little thing on 171 points, just 4 clear from Cameron Brewster, who's won 2 of those. Shares a pole position, something Paul Joseph has yet to achieve so far for that. Third is James Kirk with 132. Kind of in a little bit of no man's land there with just the single win. Ahead of Stuart Fleming on 107, doing very, very well for Team Core. Dave Robertson 5th, who I didn't... Is he in here, Dave Robertson? Yes, he is. Didn't see him, he's doing a sneaky squirrel. Darren Frith is in 6th for TTFR. Mart Valger 7. Lee McLaughlin 8. James Ross 9. And Norman Bruce, who's back with us today, rounds out 10th position. All looking very good there. The teams for Division 1 is Torrent Motorsport Sim and Skins, well clear of Torrent Motorsport Mobile. Team Estonia 3rd, Union Motorsport 4, Online Motorsport 5, TTFR 6 and Torrent Motorsport Osiris 7. And for Division 2, it's the 6th Axis Racing with 229 ahead of Team Core, Union Motorsport International, TTF, the 6th Axis Racing Dice, Water Blue Racing and PPR. Rounding off that one. I'm new, so I'm guessing D2. I'm guessing right, Whoopkey. And yep, welcome to our newbies tonight, Whoopkey Hoekstra, who I know from GPVWC. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kevin Buddy, you can be my friend. Marvin Amantz. Let's hope he's not pants. Thomas Anius. Viciously spiky, maybe. Thinking French for pineapple. Can't really make a joke from that one, sorry. Ah, Mike Wrightson's just popped back in again. Welcome, Mikey. Good to have you back. And Lucas Grabuliascus making his debut too, because there wasn't quite anyone with a name that I would struggle to pronounce in this league. So that would have to be solved. Don't forget, tweet away. Hashtag RFGRC. Oh dear. Kamikaze, as ever, in the chat room. Thank you for joining me. He says, so Simon, who do you think will make the most, pun intended, of today's racing? Very good. Very good. You can always be relied on, Kamikaze. Even if your jokes seem to be coming from the Kazi. I think it's going to be quite difficult today because it's going to be very much weight related. Borna Spoljaric has got the most weight you can actually carry with 60 kilograms, ahead of Martin Palm with 49, Kyril Aziz with 33, Reino Rum with 24, Reino Muru with 9, Ihab Abbas with 9, Ilja Bacalo with 8 and Hans-Peter Mead with 7 kilograms for the Division 1 category. And I think that's going to really close up on things, and potentially I think Bacalo could be a real dark horse because of his lack of weight in comparison to other people. Watch out for Andreas Stankiewicz as well. I think that maybe his qualifying lap was not necessarily representative of where he's going to be. The Division 2 lot, Cameron Brewster's got 59 kilos ahead of Paul Joseph with 54. Those are one huge number, huge number. James Kirk with 31, Stuart Fleming 26, Dave Robertson 13 and Lee McLaughlin 8. I think Team Core could have a little mini field day here, dependent on how the 6th Axis Racing guys deal with the weight. I have a funny feeling I don't know if they actually knew that they would have so many. Plus, I think Whoopkey Hoekstra certainly, if not Marvin Amantz as well, and Kevin Buddy, as new guys, could well rule the day. Best of luck to everyone as they come along to the grid for the 11 laps. Best of luck for everyone for the first of 3 ones of entertainment. Let's take you down through the grid. Martin Palm on pole position for Torrent Motorsport Sim and Skins. in their bright new livery. Second alongside him is sister team teammate Ilja Bracalo for TMO Mobile. Third, Kyril Aziz for TMO Mobile. And fourth, Borna Spoljaric, don't get how fat he is, TMO Sim and Skins. Rainer Rum, fifth for Team Estonia, flying the flag, Eurovision style. Union Motorsports, Ehab Abbas will be sixth. Mirko Wenzel, seventh. That for him actually, because he's not got weight added for onlinemotorsport.com. Reino Muru, TTFR, 8th position. Andreas Stankiewicz, 9th for Torrent Motorsport Osiris. I do like the green on that. Wupke Hoekstra, 10th. An independent for the time being. 11th, making his debut as well, Kevin Buddy. Hans-Peter Mead, 12th for Online Motorsports. Oh, we've got problems for Ben Walters, he's disqualified himself. That won't work. 13th, Marvin Amantz. 14th, Dave Robertson for Team Core. 15th, Lee McLaughlin, Team Dice, or 6th Axis Racing Dice. Ahead of Cameron Brewster for 6th Axis Racing. 7th, Thomas Anius as a debutant today, ahead of Paul Joseph, our D2 leader. James Kirk is 19th. TSA, ahead of James Ruffs for TTF, making his debut for TTF I think this time around after being an independent last season. Stuart Fleming, 21st for the Core. 22nd, Norman Bruce for Water Blue Racing, good to have you back. Ben Walters, as I've said, is disqualified and is sitting in the pit lane, so I'm not sure what he's done, but slapped wrist, naughty bum bum. Paul Gardiner, still an independent as ever. That interesting livery with what looks like a slightly confused kitty on the back. Mike Wrightson, 25th for English Racing Night, so I'd assume once he's got going. Lucas Gabrielaskas rounds off the grid in 27, so Ben Walters will not be getting an reprieve by the looks of it. Here come the grid. The lights are coming on. Your evenings of entertainment starting right about now. And Martin Palm lurches off the line well ahead of Ilja Bracalo. Bracalo was left standing still there. Palm off to a great start. Aziz pushes off alongside. I predict problems potentially down into turn 1. Borna Spoljaric already down to 8th position. It's like he's been left for dead with all the weight. Oh no, who's that speeding through? It's Wupke Hoekstra. He's done some kind of liuzzi down into 1 and not quite sure what happened there, and he's automatically DNF'd himself. Weird. It was like he didn't steer at all, but he's out now. I think that may have meant that everyone else is pretty much okay. No, Reino Muru is last. He's gone off as well. So drama there for 2 of the hot shots already. Martin Palm then leads the way from Kyril Aziz, Bracalo, Rum, Abbas, Wenzel up to 6, Spoljaric down to 7. He's recovered 2 positions already. Robertson, Buddy, Amantz, Brewster, Mead, Joseph, Anuius, Ross, Kirk, Fleming, Wrightson, Gardner, McLaughlin, and Stankiewicz down in 21st as well. So Stankiewicz, I think, is a problem there. I think he must have collected Muru at some point, or vice versa. It is come Borna Spoljaric diving through Mirko Wenzel, that 6th position. Wenzel straight onto the back of him, looking like he wants to have a go back through. But Wenzel pulling, or being dropped already. Ehab Abbas is all over the back of Reino Rum as well, and Bracalo's on the back of Aziz. As who's that changing position? That's Hans-Peter Mead getting round Cameron Brewster for 11th. I think everyone just getting themselves quite settled, but Martin Palm there being attacked by Kyril Aziz as we come out of the final turn. Bracalo's right in the slipstream as well, and Palm has got an awful lot of weight on board for doing so well in the opening couple of rounds, and I think this could well play a problem for him. But Bracalo is trying to block Aziz in behind Palm, and look at that, problems for the two. Are both heavy under braking. Aziz hangs on just about. Bracalo's right there too. Reino Rum holds off Abbas. Marvin Amantz is trying to have a go at Dave Robertson for 9th and 10th. They've come out of the chicane side by side. Dave Robertson, a great start to get up to 10th position. He was right in the midfield, and Amantz is going to try and dive round the outside of him because he'll have the inside for this big long kink. And I think he's going to have that position. Yes, he does indeed. He cuts across before he gets to the chicane. Dave Roberts trying to keep his foot in, but the Scotsman, I don't think, will be able to cling on for much longer, and Hans-Peter Mead is sizing him up quite nicely. The field segregating out into several different little clumps. Norman Bruce is in trouble somewhere along the line, and Mike Wrightson has just passed Stuart Fleming for 15th positions. Once again, no, Dave Robertson and Marvin Amantz side by side, and here comes Dave. Marvin cutting right across to take the line, and Dave lucky to get out of it, but that's left Hans-Peter Mead no choice but to say yoink, I'll have 10th, thank you very much. Dave Robertson trying to cling on around the outside, contact between the two as Hans-Peter Mead leans on Robertson as he cuts across to try and take the line. He's going to run Hans-Peter Mead out as wide as possible. Great driving here by these guys in the midfield, and look at Thomas. I think Thomas Aneus is going to fancy a mini look too, although he's had a bit of a slower exit out from that corner. And Dave Robertson holds on just for now, and Paul Joseph having a look at Aneus as well, as it is all kicking off in the midfield. Up front is Aziz having a look at Palm. He's getting sucked right up into the slipstream. Yes, he pulls out to have a look in the battle for the lead down into turn 1. Can Aziz do it? He's late on the brakes. Palm tries to hold on around the outside. Aziz runs him very wide and then cuts across, and that's a change for the lead. Kyril Aziz takes that for now, and it looks as though Bracalo's half having a look. Down at the positions 10 and 11, Hans-Peter Mead goes round the outside of Roberts. Roberts gets tapped from behind by Aneus, and Paul Joseph, I think, is going to have a good run on that, and Thomas goes back to 12th position. Thomas drops down to 13th. Borna Spoljaric is still going in 5th position all on his own. He's got round Ehababas. Ehababas is now behind him though, and look at Kevin Buddy. Buddy's got round Wenzel. So Wenzel Gummidge doesn't have any friends, and Buddy's now leaving him, I'm afraid, so that's the end of that. As the field continues to stream through, Andreas Stankiewicz now up to 16th position, as he's got round Lucas Gebrielaskus. I want to say Gebri Selassie. Wrong sport. James Kirk in the pits in 24th position, so he must have had an off-ski somewhere. And Stuart Fleming's missing a front bumper. Oh, surely not those two again. And Lee McLaughlin is going round as well, minus a bonnet. So maybe it was a 6-axis racing internal combustion going on there. Nothing worse than hitting your teammates. As the field spear out of the final turn. Across the line goes Aziz, and is that Spoljaric going past? Yeah, Rainer Room's in the pits. What happened there? Because he didn't make a mistake, he's just gone into the pits. I'm wondering if he's screwed the fuel or something. Or a drive-through penalty maybe, jumping the start. I don't know. Very bizarre. But Rainer Room going through. I should keep an eye on that. Oh, that's Muru having a go at someone. Having a go at James Ross for 16th and 17th positions. Muru gets through on James, and is that Mike Wrightson off the track? No, it's Dave Robertson off the track in 15th position. What's happened to him? I'm just taking a replay. Oh, he's very bizarre. It's like his computer lagged out, and then he appears in the escape road of turn 1. Very bizarre. So he's rejoined his 16th position. A shame there for Dave Robertson, because he was looking like getting a top 10 placing. Unfortunately, that's not happened. Hans-Peter Mead has just overtaken Marvin Amantz for 8th and 9th positions. Or is he? Because Marvin's having a go back through again, side by side. The 8th and 9th placed drivers, but the onlinemotorsport.com car gets through, and Marvin drops down to 9th. Aneus has retaken Paul Joseph for 10th and 11th position. Mike Wrightson has now got Andreas Stankiewicz all over the back of him for 12th and 13th as they continue their little battle. And is that Bracalo just diving past Palm? It is. Bracalo's past Palm for 2nd and 3rd places around some of the faster corners, so that's worked out beautifully for the TMO Mobiles, which are now 1 and 2 with Simon Skins 3 and 4. And well, we did say as Ehab Abbas has just been passed by Kevin Buddy, the 5th and 6th position. all going off there as Aziz does the fastest lap. Oh, 3 wide into the last corner for Wrightson, Stankiewicz and Joseph, 11, 12, 13. And Paul Joseph, having a go at Wrightson, runs out wide. Stankiewicz has him, and he's effectively lost 2 positions all at once there. And Stankiewicz taking a draft off Wrightson. Can he do 2 cars in 2 corners? The Osiris driver pulling out to have a go. Side by side, Mike Wrightson giving him plenty of room, and he pulls back in again. I think Mike Wrightson will be quite pleased with this because he's only just really returning to GRC after a little bit of sabbatical, and he's got himself back going again. Still ahead of Joseph and Cameron Brewster, and a recovering Dave Robertson in 15th, ahead of Muru and Gabrielaskis. And everyone's back going again. James Kirk is out of the pits. So, lap 5 then we're on, of 11, and Aziz still leads from Bricalo, 1.1 seconds, ahead of Palm 3rd, then 3 seconds back to Spoljaric in 4. Kevin Buddy, now in clear air. I'll be interested to see what kind of lap times he does in 5th position. Ehab Abbas is in 6th, he's still holding up Mirko Wenzel, who's not really attacking just yet, in 7. Hans-Peter Mead now pops out in 8th, after being bottle corked up. Then 9th for Marvin Amantz, 10 Thomas Aniuis. Stankiewicz now in 11th, having passed Wrightson and Joseph in 2 corners. Brewster, Robertson, Muru, Gabrielaskis, Ross, Paul Gardner's 19th. And doing well, he's ahead of Norman Bruce, and Norman Bruce has got Renault Room right up behind him, and I think Brucey is going to be passing out his bonuses to other cars, as Renault Room's so close onto the back of Bruce around the fast corners. It caught him out and he ran off wide onto the grass there a little bit. Room trying to find the room, as we'll soon see. As who's that going off? Dave Robertson down from 15th to 17th. It's not working out well for the Team Core driver, and now he's got James Ross to deal with behind. From what was looking like a good top 10 position, he's just battered down the field. And look at James Ross, that's from way back he's having a look. Gerd Robertson off his routes as Renault Room overtakes Norman Bruce into turn 1 for 20th. And James Kirk has now retired too. So that's our 3rd retirement of the race. He'll join Whoopke Hoekstra and Ben Walters, who didn't even get going. And the field slowly starting to thin out, really for the first time ever in about a year at GRC. Everyone just kind of segregating off to run around these faster sections. So we'll soon see, watching everyone peering through, but it looks as though there's Merkel Wenzel's got round Ehab Abbas for 6th and 7th positions. He was behind, not anymore. That'll do. And look at Hans-Peter Mead, slowly reeling them all in. I didn't think Mead was qualified particularly where he should have done. Oh, who's that off? That's Buddy, sorry, is off from what was 5th position. Buddy the bird, showing everyone the bird, maybe as he's going past, and he won't be anyone's buddy if that's true, as Ehab Abbas was poking a nose out as if he was going to have a go at Wenzel, but it didn't happen. What can Hans-Peter Mead do for the recovering Kev? Down into turn 1. Not going to happen. Hans-Peter Mead pulls back in again. And the online motorsport cars running 5th and 8th. I'll be quite pleased with that for the time being, but Hans-Peter Mead's got more in him. I think Kevin Buddy, it's like his pace slightly evaporated there, but we'll soon see if he can just get his momentum back going again. It was a shame because he was closing down Spoljaric quite nicely. So, out they come. You've got to be careful there. Stankiewicz is on the back of Thomas Aniuis for 10th and 11th positions, and he's pulling out to have a go. He's flashing his lights. I don't know if that was Thomas to say that he's going to let him through. But well, light flashing going on between those two either indicates a prior history of bashing and a little bit of close covered contact. Oh, Thomas! Crikey. He'll get a reputation soon as one that you would be desperately trying to avoid on the track, if that's the kind of steaming in that he likes to do, although that was right on the edge of control. The right side of it, thankfully. James Ross has passed Lucas Gebrielascus for 16th and 17th positions, and Paul Gardner's crashed out and has retired from 23rd position last lap round, so that's that. As he comes Ehab on Mirko Wenzel. You can see right towards the very end of this straight, it sucks you right up and it's given Ehab the perfect opportunity to have a go. Wenzel gives him the room, Ehab goes through, and Wenzel so wrong-footed on the exit of that he has to basically stop on the apex to recorrect himself before Kevin has a go in the BMW. And that's the battle for top Lexus honours as they come through on lap 8 of 11. And it won't be too long before we've got Aziz and Bracalo going at each other. In fact, we may have it very, very soon. Oh no, we won't now. Bracalo going off slightly onto the grass as the TMO Mobile drivers getting down and jiggy with it. Aziz probably about 3 in the morning over in Malaysia, where he gets up to race. That is what I call dedication. He'd be on record breakers if that thing was still going. Alas, Bucks Fizz reunited put an end to that. Is that bloody offered? No. But Wenzel's right up behind Ehab again for 5th and 6th positions. It'll be interesting. Bracalo's not close enough, I don't think, out of the final corner to have a go at Aziz, but Wenzel's certainly close enough to have a go at Ehab. Bass as we come out of the final corner, and if anything, actually Hans-Peter Mead as well, having a go at Kevin Buddy. As we come piling out of the final corner to start the 3rd fast lap. What can Wenzel do? I think he's poked out a wee bit early, indeed he has, and he's fallen right back behind, and look at the way how Kevin Buddy just steams right into the back of him. Wenzel there, very defeatist before he got to the apex. Bizarre there, and he's very slow out of it too. So very much a give and take. Andreas Stankiewicz closing down, and Marvin Amati is at Reino Muro upper position. Reino Muro versus Paul Joseph side by side out of turn 1 for 13th and 14th position. Joseph basically making Reino go all the way round and holds the position there for the time being. A TTFR driver we've done the onboard lap with and looked like he was doing very well, ending up in the bin down at turn 1, and he's had to recover all the way since. Paul Joseph keeping him just about at bay for now. And yeah, not looking too grand at all. Hans-Peter Mead having a go at Kevin Buddy. 8 positions, and that's actually allowed Hans-Peter Mead to drop back as Muru has got round Paul Joseph. 13th and 14th positions, sadly. Stuart Fleming's in pits from 22nd as he goes a lap down. Not his day at all. And Stankiewicz has just got round Marvin Amantz. Amantz, they're running out wide, and he's down to, look at Thomas Aniwis going round as well, and Marvin now out of the top 10, and look at Mike Wrightson trying to have a go as well as we come to the end of lap 9 of 11, and the 3 GRC levered cars, where they've yet to submit their own, come tumbling out of the final turn, and I think Marvin's going to have a good old run on Thomas down into turn 1. Well, maybe if he's a friend of Marvin, he can do some low rumbling voice and put him off. Look at Thomas going sliding round the outside, very aggressive there by Thomas, kept the racing line. Marvin had nowhere to go, backs right out of it, and that's going to put him on his back foot for Mike Wrightson. Good defensive driving there by Thomas, and he knew exactly when to stop Marvin, so that works out very well from these new guys, getting into the GRC way quite nicely. Wrightson just keeping a watching brief. I think he's hoping that something will go wrong between those two and he can pick up the pieces like some kind of scallywag as they come tumbling out. Look at the battle for the lead. Bricalo trying to go around the outside of Aziz, round one of the fast corners. Can he make that one stick? That would be absolutely nuts. If he does, there's contact between the two. Bricalo does it. That's a fantastic move by Ilja Bricalo. He's practically smeared his testes all over the windscreen of Aziz as he comes flying out of that. That was balls to the wall and beyond, as they come steaming out of the corners. And Kyrul, I don't think he'll take lightly to that, as he likes to rule the track. So we come into the last lap now. We'll be starting as we cross the line. And well, I think Ilja was busy feeling that one up for a couple of laps, because he was running out so wide for some of those, and the one beforehand he'd actually caught himself out. Sorry, two before, he'd caught himself out. I think that was just a test run to see just how much he could push it, and that works out lovely. Kyrul, much better line through turn 1. May well have a go back through. Martin Palm, not to be lost, just 2 seconds behind, whereas Boljaric is nearly 10. So you have a Bass then 5. Wenzel having another half-hearted look. Marco not quite so aggressive and confident down onto the brakes at 1, and it's really affecting him. Then you've got Buddy and Mead. Stankiewicz, Wrightson is past Aeneas and Amance. I knew those two would be in trouble. So Mike Wrightson yoinks 10th position ahead of Muru, Joseph and Room, with Robertson, Gabriel Askus, Ross, Brewster down to 19th. He's in trouble. Norman Bruce. Lee McLaughlin's out of the race, so it looks like we're going to get just the 21 people make it home if they can. And what can Kyrul Aziz do in this last lap? He's shadowing Ilja for all that he's worth. Can he find anywhere where he can try and attempt a last gasp effort? We're on the Autodrom Most here at the Czech Republic. Something's changed hands. Peter Mead's got round Kevin Buddy for 7th and 8th position. Kevin, they're really losing out in the second half of this race. What can Aziz do? He's got one more corner in which to do it, but I think he's locked up a little bit too wide. Yep, that's it all over for Kyrul. Ilja Bricalo, with an absolutely desperate daring manoeuvre, yoinks victory out of the jaws of defeat. Ilja Bricalo takes win number 1 for round number 1 at the Autodrome Most here this evening for GRC Season 13. Torrent Motorsport Mobile. Kyrul Aziz, 2nd place. Should be happy. I wonder if he will be. Martin Palm, an excellent 3rd with all of that weight that he's got. He's done a fantastic job. Spoljaric then 4th position. He have a Bass 5 ahead of Mirko Wenzel, 6. Kevin Buddy is 7. Hans-Peter Mead grabs 8. Andreas Stankiewicz comes home 9 after a topsy-turvy race. Mike Wrightson, a top 10 finish, you'll be delighted with that. Thomas Anues, 11 on debut, ahead of Marvin Amance. That battle went right to the wire and Thomas held it. Reno Muru just behind him, 13th. Paul Joseph, 14th for Union International. 15 Reno Room. 16 Dave Robertson. What an awful shame, because he was running in the top 10 early on. James Ross came home 17, ahead of Lucas Gabrielauskas for 18th on debut. Norman Bruce crosses the line now, 19th position. He'll have that. Cameron Brewster must be limping home. That's a torrid last 2 laps for him. 20th position to collect his points. Yeah, 15 seconds off the pace that lap, and 6 seconds the one before. 2 laps down for Stuart Fleming. An absolute disaster for Team Core towards the end. Our retirements then: Lee McLaughlin, TSA Racing Dice; James Kirk, TSA Racing; Whoopke Hoekstra, Independent; Paul Gardner, Independent; and Ben Walters was disqualified from the start. Whoopke saying sorry for his noob dive at the start. It was a bizarre one, Whoopke. It was like you'd left your whoopee cushion on auto drive. Yeah, I've got a whoopee cushion as a brake pedal. Either way, I think the same sound would have been given by all. Play that sound. So, race 2 will see us with the starting grid of exactly how we've ended on race 1.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
And that will do quite nicely indeed. Whew. And I think we're going to have a wee bit of a drama in the chat room. Wookie's saying that he got very confused because he looked down to see that he got a drive-through for a so-called jump start, and it just put him off, and he went steaming into one. Thankfully, didn't collect anyone. So that was that. Yes, Borna Spoliaric telling everyone the car is inching forwards if you aren't pressing brake. Bake. What do you think he is, the Russian grannies of Eurovision? Let's go to party now. Woo! Well, if we're going to continue the awful Eurovision puns, at least Ilja Bacalo will be feeling some euphoria by the end of this. Oh dear, can you tell I'm absolutely shattered? So, Karen Bruce is saying, must think positively, if I'm doing this badly at least I won't be dragging a dead body around for Bahrain. Which is true, in a way. Frustrating when you have a perfect car and still can't keep up, says Martin. Ah well. Got to love the psych out tactics going on. Of course, this is just round 3 of an 8-round calendar, and that calendar will be taking us to Bahrain, and that will be the big endurance race, which is where lots of extra points are awarded. Then we're off to Silverstone, Norris Ring, Autopolis, and we'll finish off at Manfield. Great collection of cars there. So what have I been up to since the last time we gathered? Well, commentated on the GPVWC series. That was good fun. As ever, you can sign up for that on gpvwc.com if you fancy it. Had a good gig on Friday night. There's this great bar, I've forgotten what it's called now, but it's in Chelmsford, and not Chelmsford, Cambridge. It's like a laptop bar at the back, and they bring drinks to you while you surf the net.